We'll begin our day, as I like to always do, inside the maroon and white notebook, the Texas A&M world of athletics. You know, yesterday, I think the top story, for me, the top story had to be, well, the weather messing with our weekend. A, the maroon and white game is now at 11 a.m. B, Aggie softball had their Friday game moved to 6 p.m. and the Saturday game moved to 11 a.m. Aggie softball, 11 in the country, hosting Mississippi State, 14 in the country, home. And that all went down yesterday, shared at the time, but we'll call it a reminder. The maroon and white game, the scrimmage, is now Saturday at 11, and Aggie softball is now tonight at 6 and Saturday at 11. Now, as a result, and this is the spring game, as a result of it moving to 11, and I've mentioned it because I think this is crazy, awesome, cool, but the free concert at Aggie Park has been postponed. It has been moved because after the spring game that was scheduled for, was it 2, 1, somewhere in there, there was a free concert at Aggie Park featuring local musicians, and that is now postponed. It's not going to happen tomorrow. The free live event, it was going to be televised for a taping of the Texas music scene. Now, the new date is Saturday, May 16th, and it's going to be after the A&M baseball game against Mississippi State. It's still going to be taped and be a part of the Texas music scene. You've got Garrett Talamontes, Blue Edmondson, Juliana Rankin, Austin Meade, and now there's a special guest that'll be revealed closer to the May 16th date. I am pro music. I am pro Texas music, pro local music. So I thought this was crazy cool. It's a free concert. You kind of can't argue with the price. So I'm happy that I understand, like, you're trying to move all these artists. I mean, even on 2-3 days notice, kind of impossible. But I'm happy they're still doing it. Put it after Aggie baseball. 2 thumbs up. Kind of cool. They're, filming it for the Texas music scene. And I did not know what that was. Look it up. It's a television program, nationally recognized television program dedicated to showcasing Texas artists. So I'm happy they didn't lose that too, all due to rain. So awesome, cool. A heads up, no free concert at Aggie Park, moved to be after Aggie baseball, May 16th, Mississippi State. Got an email yesterday. I mean, I probably got about 200 or 300, but still. The one of note in relation to the spring game, select members of the A&M football program tomorrow will take the field wearing specialty cleats. It's part of the Aggies for a Cause initiative, and it's for the maroon and white game tomorrow, 11 a.m. at Kyle Field. And this Aggies for a Cause, they're going to have custom designed cleats that highlight causes and organizations that hold personal significance to the student athletes. Think of a lot of organizations, charities that they support. For example, we had Marcus Ratcliffe on, I think it was about 2 years ago. And he works actively with Walk Among Heroes. And his cleats are going to be honoring, highlighting Walk Among Heroes. Isaiah Horton, wide receiver from Alabama, Texas A&M, is going to be Jill of America. And if you go to 12thman.com, there's an entire list of athletes. Marcel Reed is the Archer Foundation. Micah Riley, the Hidden Opponent. Vic Singleton, Autism Society of Ohio. Jaden Warren, the National Breast Cancer Foundation. Tamarian Watkins, Project Hope Foundation. I mean, there's I think this is incredible. Kyle Garvis, Aggieland Humane Society, Louie Bellina Show, Community Spotlight. We work with Aggieland Humane Society. So I just think this is crazy, awesome, amazing personally. So I wanted to spotlight it. Brady Hart, Down Syndrome Association of the Brazos Valley. Ryan Henderson, the American Cancer Society. Blake Ivy, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. There's so many. If you want to check out all of the Aggies for a Cause, the cleats that'll be highlighted. If you attend the Maroon White game they're encouraging you to arrive early so you can take a closer look at the custom cleats and you can learn more about the organizations being a representative and take advantage of the opportunity. Really cool. Strikes me as really rare. Something I don't see every day. Something I hope they do more often. I hope more sports do in some way. If those are cleats and, maybe others can do these custom bats and custom just whatever for the sport. I love this concept. So, Maroon and White game is at 11. The free concert event's been postponed. Not going to happen at Aggie Park. It'll be May 16th after the A&M baseball game. Check out the Aggies for a Clause cleats that the different players, the organizations they're supporting, highlighting, spotlight, bringing attention to. This weekend, across the country, huge. This is the biggest I've seen for spring game weekends. You got A&M, we know this. Houston, the Cougars. They were going to have it at the big stadium, but okay, I hope I have every detail right, but the quick version, a church had an event on their field. The field is too torn up to actually have their spring game, so their spring game now has to be at their practice field. Wow. Oklahoma State, spring game. Hey, we already know. We're here. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. Something, I don't know if this is ironic. There's just something about this that keeps ringing a bell in my head. So, Cody Campbell, the billionaire Texas Tech alum, thinks he runs the Big 12. He was warring with the Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark. This is 2 weeks ago now, because Texas Tech has a Friday football game on the regular season schedule. And Cody Campbell, we don't play Fridays. Big 12 said, you are. It was a stink. Don't know if you followed it. It was good off-season fun for me. I grabbed some popcorn and a beer. It was good times. Well, for a team that doesn't play on Fridays, Texas Tech, their spring game is tonight at 7 on a Friday. Well, it doesn't interfere with Texas high school football. It still just strikes me as a little funny. For a team that doesn't play on Friday, their spring game is tonight on Friday. Michigan, the Wolverines, Friday night. No, it's not. Saturday, but spring game this weekend is the point. Ohio State, spring game Saturday noon. Going to the SEC, Auburn, Saturday at 3. Georgia, Saturday at 1. Oklahoma, Saturday at 1. And, of course, the Aggies. Texas, the Longhorns, Saturday at noon. This is the biggest, easily. I'm just spotlighting some of the more marquee names. There's a lot more games than just that. But, yeah, this is the weekend, the big weekend of spring games. Anyway, before we jump out of the Aggie football when Bryce joins me, I got some more stuff to throw at him. ESPN Recruiting this morning did their class of 2027 rankings. And A&M, who's got like 4 or 5 stars, and you have A&M at number 2. I'm not sure, because A&M, ESPN Recruiting, with their rankings and stuff, they don't do that many 5 stars. I like the more exclusive a recruiting service or rankings try and be, the more I tend to be a fan of them. I'm not going to lie. But there's also recruiting services that watch no tape and they give out their stars and you have no idea they did it. Recruiting rankings are really tricky, tend to not be 100%. I don't know of the best service anymore, to be honest with you. But this is ESPN's opinion. They have A&M at 2. They have 10 top 300 ESPN commits. Top offensive prospects, the wide receiver Jaden Upshaw. The top top defensive prospect is the DN Zyron Forstall. According to ESPN, they have the number 2 class. Number 1, Oklahoma Sooners. They have 11 to A&M's 10. 11 of the ESPN top 300s. Top O prospect for them is offensive tackle Cooper Hackett, and their top D prospect is a linebacker by the name of Cooper Witten. Familiar last name for Cowboy fans, Cooper Witten. His dad happens to be a tight ends coach for the team. Cooper Witten, top linebacker, is their top top defensive prospect. Number 3, Texas Tech. It's going to be scary. And this is the future post Cody Campbell, but if Texas Tech gets their high school, it's still money, right? But if they can put the high school classes together to go with their portal classes, Texas Tech might be slightly just a skosh building something there. Just a skosh. Just a little bit. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. Before we take our first time out of the day, I do have our first text message of the day. Kyle from Hutto. Aggie baseball needs to win the series at LSU to stay atop of the SEC, especially since next weekend against Florida is looking pretty nasty down in Gainesville. Okay, that's one. There's probably about 5 reasons why Aggie baseball needs to win the series at LSU. A, they need to keep the momentum. B, second half begins. And LSU, of the 5 teams, if we were ranking their last 5 opponents left, right? LSU would be 4 or 5. It's a tough schedule. LSU is not in the top 3 of the 5 opponents remaining. LSU, they're not bums, but they're scuffling. Whenever you have the big momentum swing, you just went 2-0, you just swept your rival, you just swept the number 2 team in the country, the worst thing you can do is punt it back by losing to a team below you. That kind of thing. I've talked about if you want to host, and LSU, A&M, all these RPIs and all these weird kind of things. And look, for all the goals you still have in front of you and all the goals you wish to achieve, you need to beat LSU this weekend. There's other series coming up that maybe you're not going to take that won't hurt you actually if you lose. LSU is a series you need to win to get your upper level goals. There's about 5 reasons why they need to beat LSU. And to stay at top of the SEC is one of them. I'm kind of done with rankings. Softball has 3 series left. Baseball has 5. I'm more into RPI now, as almost using them as my rankings. But yes, I would use the word need. Aggie baseball does need. Because if you don't, you put more pressure into winning other series where you'll probably be the dog. And A&M baseball is not the dog this weekend. Always win the series you should. And then you try and sneak some series you should not. And Texas was the favorite in that series. And A&M already did that. So don't punt it back. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back just beginning. It is the Louie Bellina Show Monday edition, presented by CC Electric. Built on faith, family, and community, CC Electric.
Start your Sunday mornings with the best week ever from ESPN Radio. Yes! Listen in from 6 to 9 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
The Louie Bellina Show. Just getting started. In about, me and math. Oh, man, come on. In about 13, 14 minutes, listen in. Michael Earley met with the media yesterday in advance of the LSU series. We'll listen in to what A&M Baseball head coach had to say. 11:35 here on the Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. 11:55, high school sports update. Thanks to Kelly Bertdozer. That's our first hour together. 12 o'clock, Bryce Jones. 12:35. Oh, yeah, 12:35. I got a 2 pair, not 1, not 3, not 7. 2 pair of tickets to the Astros Cardinals. That is tomorrow, Saturday. Check your calendar, see if you're free. Remember, all Zone Brian Broadcasting prize rules apply, and you will have to have had never won Astros tickets before anywhere on Brian Broadcasting, you or anyone in your family. So start planning ahead. That's, still to come. Let's return the Maroon and White Notebook, the Texas A&M Athletics Universe. A&M men's basketball made it official. PJ Haggerty is an Aggie. We've known, but the paperwork, I guess the signing of everything, but it is officially official. PJ Haggerty is an Aggie. He was the 4th leading scorer in the country a year ago. Top leading scorer returning. I've seen him ranked as high as 5. I've seen him 8, 7 ranked player in the portal this year. And all the scouting reports have him as maybe the greatest, ultimate, talk about the best buckyball guard out there. He is a perfect fit for the system completely. He's one of 3 that I've seen. Maybe something's happened in the past 20 minutes and I missed it. Commitments that Bucky has pulled out of the portal, and he's one of the most exciting portal additions I've ever seen, period. Aggie basketball. The other 2, not necessarily in order. Cade Phillips was a starter at Tennessee till he got injured. He's got size, 6'9", 210, rebounder, offensive-oriented, shot blocker, lob threat, got that athleticism, just hard worker. So, pretty phenomenal. Your Luke Evangelist scouting report. If you love Aggie basketball, you got to follow Luke Evangelist Texags because he loves Aggie basketball and he's incredible at what he does too. And then Lucas Walls, 6'5" guard, 2 years with Bucky at Samford, spent last year at Radford, averaged 8 points, shot 46% from three-point land, and should be depth guy, which, they need everything again, so fits perfectly. But Aggie basketball, officially official. PJ Haggerty is an Aggie. Going to Aggie baseball, of note, they're playing LSU. We've talked about it. And you can hear every game all weekend long. Tonight is 5:45. Tomorrow is, let me get my times right. Yeah, tonight's 5:45. Tomorrow 6:45. And then LSU Sunday, Game 3, going for the sweep, will be at 12:45. All the games are here on the Zone, 1150 AM, 93.7 FM, online at radioagaland.com. Of course, the Zone app. And you can tell Alexa play Zone 1150. But the pitching rotation, Coach Earley announced yesterday, same as last weekend. Sadeo goes tonight, Aiden Sims Saturday. And think Weston Moss, I would say for some number of innings on Sunday will start, unless they really have to use them long relief or multiple times Friday, Saturday is the way to think about it. For LSU, they're TBA on Sunday too. They're throwing righty Kason Evans. He's got about a 5 ERA himself on Friday night. Their best pitcher on the weekend goes Saturday too. Righty William Schmidt. He's got a 3.22 ERA. They're the TBA on Sunday also. LSU, preseason Omaha favorite. It has not been playing out that way. They're 6-9. Second half of the season is starting. They have to make not a run. They don't have to win out, but they have to start putting it together towards Omaha themselves. They have to start figuring it out. It's not been the season they intended, that's for sure. 23-15. The midweek losses, I was pointing it out at the start. Like they were number 2, 3 in the country, and they were losing 2 midweek games, then 3 midweek games. And I'm going, okay, I know everyone has a leak in the midweek, but after a while, it was a sign of something else. And then they started imploding on the weekend, and everyone finally jumped on board. LSU, there might be a problem. Hello. It doesn't mean they're a bad team, but they were not the team that everyone thought they were in the offseason. Yeah, the second half of the season starting for them, they know they need to put it together. They need to just win their last 5 series kind of thing. And A&M needs to make sure that doesn't start this weekend. I think this is a fascinating series for A&M. Now that they're a newly minted top 10 team, keeping that status for LSU, they need to start their ascent back forward with the fall they had over the first half of the SEC. Anyway, so listen to all the games here on the Zone. Something I saw, I love infographics. I think this will be the 20th time I've said that. And Aggie Baseball put out one. Aggie Baseball leads the SEC in the following, every one of these offensive categories. They lead the SEC in scoring, 9.9 runs per game. Can I just say 10? Or is someone going to be, it's only 9.9. Like, is there RBIs? It's RBI. Leave me alone. Leave me alone if you're that guy. But A&M Baseball leads the SEC in scoring, 9.9. Batting average at 288. Slugging percentage is 559. Walks at 108. Doubles 31. Triples and 4. 4 triples on there. They lead the SEC in 6 different offensive categories. And I feel like the key is they survived the Texas weekend. The Texas pitching staff, they didn't slow them down. They averaged 10 runs a game, 20 runs, 2 games. And I don't know if any other team's going to do that, period, end of conversation. So, yeah, they can lead the SEC in many offensive categories when you get through that. Pretty epic. Scoring, batting average, slugging percentage, walks, doubles, triples. A&M's O leads the SEC in every one of those categories. Something else that caught my attention, Aggie Baseball. ESPN, Kylie McDaniel, their draft, all things college, baseball, draft stuff. He did a mini mock, 13 only. It's funny. You know why? Trying to do a mock draft in baseball is pretty ridiculous. Trying to predict what these organizations will do. I like a mini mock. He did 13. You probably could go 15, but why bother? Mock drafts for MLB. And part of why it's so hard to get into the MLB draft, they do it at the wrong time. They do it, well, no, I'm not going to do that rant. I like the mini mock. And there's an Aggie in it. That's why I'm bringing it up. At number 9, the Atlanta Braves select from Texas A&M shortstop Chris Hakopian. Anyway, there you go. That's the only Aggie in the mini mock. And the mini mock was 13, the top 13 picks. Number 1 overall, in case you were interested, and I know you were. I saw you looking at me. Chicago White Sox select from UCLA shortstop, and Mitch has talked about this guy. I'm a timer 3, but Cholowski, that's the number 1 overall pick. At number 2, Tampa Bay takes Texas commit, the shortstop from Fort Worth Christian, Grady Emerson. So, yeah. Chris Hakopian goes 9 to the Braves in the mini mock. We wrap up for now because when Bryce joins me, and we still got to listen in with Michael Earley, but our Maroon and White notebook, quick look, early look, things to pay attention to. But Aggie softball this weekend at home, Davis Diamond. It's 11 versus 14. Aggies are 11. Mississippi State's 14. And I think the Bulldogs are just a fascinating team because of their pitching staff. And great pitching. What the heck with their offense? If they were an average offensive team, I would kill to see what their ranking, what their wins would be, their record, but ain't much. And A&M's offense, softball, is brilliant. Their pitching is not very good, but I don't want to act like they're awful. And sometimes we live in a world where everything's the best or the worst, and that's not what I'm saying. But it's not very good. But Mississippi State's offense might be bad enough that this pitching staff for A&M can look real good this weekend. And I don't know if they can hold A&M's offense down. But man, that's that classic matchup. I just want to see A&M's O against Mississippi State's pitching staff. Should be a great weekend. Like if you're a fan to see this kind of matchups. You can hear Aggie softball, 5:45. Remember, new times for Aggie softball. Friday, Saturday, moved all due to weather. So 6 o'clock tonight, 11 a.m. tomorrow, and it's still 1 o'clock on Sunday. You might have an old schedule. You might have wrote it down on your hand in pen, and it'll never come off, and it's wrong. 6 o'clock tonight, 11 o'clock tomorrow, 1 o'clock Sunday, right? And you can hear every game all weekend long on Willie 1550 AM and at radioaggieland.com. And for Aggie softball, mentioned earlier in the week, hosting. They're currently like 15, and that's in the hosting slot. That is the 10th team in the RPI. 10 teams I don't think are going to get to host by the committee, no matter what your RPI says. I don't think it'll be 10 of 16 host sites. And you know where the 2 schools directly in front of them? It's like LSU at Mississippi State at 14 and LSU at 13. Some combo. Now, they've already beat LSU. Go ahead and beat Mississippi State. That the committee can do. They can fudge the RPIs and go, look, they just beat these 2 teams that are right in front of them heads up. And so, because they've shifted teams 4 or 5 slots RPI-wise. Just give them the reason why. So I think this is a resume-building weekend by beating a team that's in front of you in the RPI, and you might be fighting on a host in this weird kind of committee way. And it's a great, fascinating matchup, O versus pitching, too. So if you get the chance, go catch you some softball. Up next on the Louie Bellina Show, from inside the Charles Schwab studio, it's a Michael Earley listen-in. He met with the media yesterday before the team headed off to Baton Rouge. Low cost, full service, and best of all, it's local. How do we get to be best of all local with Charles Schwab? Mark Sim right here in College Station. And you can find Mark online, get answers to your questions, learn more at schwab.com/College Station. Charles Schwab and Company Incorporated, member SIPC. This is the Louie Bellina Show, Friday on the Zone.
Oh, hello, friends.
The Louie Bellina Show.
Nope, not today.
It might not be about the journey or the destination. Nobody really knows.
Wow, man.
Listen in weekdays 11 to 2 on The Zone.
The Zone.
It is the Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric. They do residential, commercial, industrial services. They are CC Electric. Time now. I got to listen in. Michael Earley, A&M Baseball head coach, met with the media. Everything he had to say about LSU, his team. Is there more?
You know, what do you feel like has really allowed this club to start gaining this momentum that it's had in conference play? I mean, you guys have won 8 of your last 9, I think, now.
I think we're playing consistent baseball, and I think offensively we've been really good, and I think the pitching, while it's had its moments when it wasn't good, they've done enough to give us a chance to win, especially, when you look at that second Vanderbilt game on and some of those Missouri games. So, I mean, I know that part of it's not exactly what everyone wants, but there's been two tails of the tape, right? And our offense has done a good job in the games that the pitching hasn't performed, to kind of pick it up. And it's just team baseball, complementary baseball, and situationally and picking the ball up and throwing it to first base and just playing, relatively clean.
What's the rotation look like for this weekend?
Same as last weekend. So it'll be Shane, Sims, and Mr. TBA. Or D, whichever one. I'm not sure which one they use. Either one of those guys.
And speaking of that, just thinking back to last weekend, just getting Sims in a spot to be able to throw on Saturday with the way everything kind of shook out, how much is like the X's and O's is such a big factor in what you do and kind of this decision making there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just thought it was necessary to get him up there, and he's been performing really well. And the weather not playing on Sunday makes you look smarter than you actually are, because no one could predict that. But when in coaching and anything, you got to make decisions, right? You go with the decisions you feel like are the best, and if they don't work out, they don't work out. If they work out, it was the right move. And sometimes just because they don't doesn't mean it was. But Aiden's obviously been performing at a high level, and we just wanted to push him up and give us some flexibility with Weston to kind of, make us deeper in the bullpen if we need it.
Speaking of Weston, just what have you seen from him maybe in some midweek bullpens here in practice?
Yeah, he got out and threw. He looked great. Like, he really needed, I think there was a thought of throwing him maybe an inning on Tuesday, but then we just kind of talked about we really just want to get him some good work. Like, get him some good work in against some hitters where it's more controlled, can talk about stuff, and he looked really, really good.
How's he kind of just maybe responded mentally just to, a little bit of a shake-up there in his role?
Great. I mean, Weston is an awesome team guy, man. Awesome team guy. And not a lot has changed, right? We need that guy to win. Just win is the question now. Like, win is in W-H-E-N. And, he's been great. And, since we made the decision, we haven't even seen him yet. So I think there's a byproduct of some good rest, some good work, and I think we're going to, this back half of the season, we need to see the best version of Weston, because we've all seen it, and he's a guy that can really help you win.
Is playing Texas, the atmosphere like here, kind of a good lead up into playing at the box, even though it's going to be opposite?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, when you look at it, and if you can look at it, and what I'm going to talk to the guys about is just like, flip yourself in that moment to being in that dugout. How would you respond to that? And I talked about it this morning with these guys. It's like, it's just noise, whether it's a lack of or a lot of. Like, what is it? It's not. There's not one person in the stands playing. Whether we're here or on the road, like, you just play the game. And that's why we just constantly preach playing pitch to pitch. Get your breath, make your pitch, be ready in the box, make your play. It should not affect you. It only affects you if you let it, right? And that place is an amazing place to play. I've had the opportunity. I played in the old one in college. I played, we've played there twice at A&M. It's great. Like, you get to go play at LSU. Like, it should be more exciting than anything else. And I think you just have to control your emotions, and it's about playing with emotion and not being emotional. It's just going to be, flipped. We're the visiting team. We're wearing, gray pants instead of white. So that should be the biggest difference.
What do you remember about those times playing there, the old one?
With A&M?
When you said you played,
I played there. Terrible there. I think my first game ever at Indiana. Yeah, first game ever at Indiana. I did not play well. I think I played better in game 2. So that was cool going down there. I think they won the national championship there, or maybe Fresno State I think won. Anyway, doesn't matter. Playing there in this conference, things obviously changed. It's picked up. We've had some great battles with them over, whether I be an assistant coach or the head coach. I mean, it's just always been really good games, and really well coached. I've went up against Jay Johnson since I started my career. I was at Arizona State. He's at Arizona. Always admired his work and what he did. Love Nate Yeske. Loved working with him. Awesome guy. I really want to beat him, but just one of those guys that, it'd be good to see him, whether it may be for a second before the series or after. But, I root for – I don't really root for them, but I really like those guys. But at the same time, they want to beat us as bad as we want to beat them.
With that TBD on Sunday, does that kind of just give you the space to potentially use Weston in a different role rather than Sunday, or is that more just gamesmanship a little bit?
It's not gamesmanship. I mean, it's pretty. They know, we know, they're doing the same thing. It's if we need him and it's really has to be right, we'll use him, and it could be a scenario too where you use him and still start him, just depending on. Again, we want to make sure that situation is really good.
What are you seeing from this LSU team that you're going to face this weekend?
They're really good. They're really talented. I know they haven't been playing their best brand of baseball, but when you look at the players and some of the games they've played, like it's this league, right? They're as good and have as much talent as anyone in this league, easily at the top in that talent standpoint. And then you mix that with a team that's, I guess, has not been playing their best baseball, and I know they have really good coaches and really good players. I expect them to be really good. I mean, they're the defending champs for a reason, and they have a good enough team to win a national championship this year. So much like, all the teams in our league.
You talk about just how it's just noise, whether it's lack of or a lot of noise. Maybe this is a simple question, but not a simple answer. Like, why is it so hard to win on the road in the SEC? Like, what about these environments that make it such a challenge?
I think the first part is just, the basic, they're at home, we're not. They have a comfort level there. You necessarily aren't too familiar. They're home for 3 year visitors. All those factors definitely play into the course of it over a season and all the games. And then it's, 18 to 23-year-old kids and atmospheres that they've never been in, and how do they deal with that noise? So I think it's a combination of all those things. I think the main ones are just the evident. Like, if you look at most teams in our league, they generally win at home, and I think all those factors come into play. But in the end, it's not about where you're at, who's the best team, who's the worst team. It's just about who plays the best baseball on that day, especially in our league.
Not necessarily talking about this weekend, but just generally speaking, what's y'all's coaching staff's philosophy on, like, an opener? Would that be something y'all would ever investigate, or is that something y'all are not interested in?
I think it's a good thing if you feel like you have the right pieces to do it. So, I mean, you consider everything at the beginning of the season, during the season, and it's just got to be right, and you got to have the right personnel, and you got to have it line up. Sometimes you got guys that, you might think you can open them, but it's like, man, I really wish I had that guy for the 6th. So it's like you got to plan out for all 9 innings, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But you consider, you should see from an offensive standpoint in my notes all the different lineups I had from the fall till now. You'd probably be like, some of them are wild, but it's just what it is in that moment. And same thing on the pitching end.
I think we're going to talk to Grant here in a minute. Just what's pleased you the most about his progression this season, and as he's taken a step forward in his production?
I love Grant, man. He's a competitor. I just have a ton of respect for him. He didn't have the year he wanted to have, whether it be performance or role, and just kept working, put his head down, didn't even think, in this day and age. I remember him coming in my office last year. He's like, I want to be here. I'm not leaving. I was like, I want you here and I don't want you to leave. So I think that part of it shows why he's gotten better, right? And that's just kind of what we deal with in this, I don't even call the era, what is college sports now. And he's just worked really hard. He's cleaned some things up. We kind of got him back to form, trying to get him back to similar to how he was at Washington, and added some things, added that curveball. He throws strikes, and I think the number one thing is he's competitive. He's reliable in the sense, he's definitely been reliable on the field, but reliable in the sense is that guy can pitch a lot, and you need that. And he seems to be with Grant, the more he pitches, the better he gets.
to your point, he expressed wanting to stay here. Why did you have faith in him to keep him on and continue to develop him, and just the payoff maybe that's had?
Because I always, maybe to a fault, see the best in guys, and I think if you've done it, you can do it. And I think the biggest factor in that is the character of the kid. So if you feel like you have a guy that's performed well in a season or seasons, performed bad, and then the character of the kid, the makeup, the work ethic, you bet on that all day. And it was never a thought for me. I was just, and I never thought he would, because I think it's just not who he is, right? And it wasn't even like I'm glad he made that decision. It wasn't a decision. It's just what it was, because that's who Grant is. And there's a big part of being on this team and who you are as a person too. Like, we got to win, you got to perform, you got to have good players. You don't get better by not having a guy like that on your team in a lot of ways, and not just baseball. So everything that he's done this year is a testament to how he is, his talent, but his character, his work ethic, and how he's just relentless every single day in his preparation.
That wraps up our listen-in. A&M Baseball head coach Michael Earley. He met with the media before they took off to Baton Rouge, and, well, that's everything he had to say. Let's grab a quick timeout, come back, high school sports update, 11:55. High school sports updates, how we'll wrap up our first hour together here on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Here on the Louie Bellina Show, Friday on The Zone.
Like The Zone on Facebook.
We have 5 likes.
And get show updates, programming alerts, contest information, and more. Like The Zone on Facebook. Zone 1150.
The Louie Bellina Show, wrapping things up, at least for our first hour together. Now, still to come, Bryce Jones, barbecue pit master, inside the Charles Schwab studio. It's an every Friday thing, the entire hour with Bryce. 12:35, the ticket booth will open. That's thanks to Dixie Tire Company. 2 pair of tickets to go see the Astros and the Cardinals. That is the Saturday game, the tomorrow game. If you need tires for your car, truck, tractor, trailer, lawnmower, even a wheelbarrow, Dixie Tire Company. They carry a wide selection of certain brands of custom wheels. They have auto accessories, truck lift kits. They fix flats. That's Dixie Tire Company, 12:35. I have a text message here from Cardinal John who says, Cards Astros, double exclamation mark. Big series, baby birds playing above their pay grade. Oh, that's a big series, all right. He said, go Cards. No. Cardinal John, I know that you know better, because here on the Louie Bellina Show, and this weekend, start of the NHL playoffs. Dallas Stars, Minnesota Wild, and the Wild hate the Stars with a never-ending burning passion of all 7 levels of hell. So, this weekend, it's never been more relevant than go Stars, go Stros. Go Stars, go Stros. There's no go Cards. Thank you, Cardinal John. Vinny and LaGrange beat that at LSU in 89, Ben McDonald. Yeah, I'm good with all that. We're in this weird place in that we're in the prime and peak of the spring. 3 series left for softball. Their postseason's about to begin. Halfway mark for baseball. And now all the stakes have become clear. You know the identity of who you are. You know what you're playing for. And I think they're both thinking like Oklahoma City and Omaha and hosting all these upper level goals are realities. I don't know who will achieve what, but you can say them and people don't look at you like crack is whack. So, but also it's all ending. We're going to look up in a 4 to 6 week window, somewhere in there, and it's done. The 25-26 year is done. It's and here in Aggieland, like tennis is hosting, it's tennis, right? Is hosting all these SEC championships, and it's just amazing. We're in this peak prime, but you blink, and we're going to be like, how many days till fall camp starts? How many days till SEC media days? Enjoy. Maybe that's the motto of my ramblings. Enjoy, because this is the good. This is fun. Now I'm going to wrap things up. 90 seconds, 2 minutes. But lifestyles. Gatorade. Don't know if you heard. Gatorade is trying to expand their market. I mean, what business should it? But they're targeting non-athletes who get thirsty while walking their dog. Gatorade invented the sports drink back in 1965. They wanted to help athletes at the University of Florida stay hydrated. I'm sure everyone's heard some part of that basic story. They just announced they're trying to broaden their reach to non-athletes who are looking for hydration on a long flight. If you're going for a walk, you're nursing a hangover. One of their analysts said that 60% of the consumers who buy sports drinks just aren't athletes. So they're targeting, maybe it's imaging and positioning, non-athletes, because 60% of the consumers aren't athletes, i.e. non-athletes. These people do want the functional ingredients from the sports drinks. You want your electrolytes for hydration, carbohydrates for energy. Maybe they're just kind of like addicted to the sugar, right? They're going to come out with some new versions. There's a thirst quencher, 48 grams of sugar, 18% of the recommended daily amounts of carbs. And athletes, that's all athlete recommend. Now there's going to be a new Gatorade lower sugar, 75% less sugar, and that's for more casual use. You walk the dog around the block and whoo, I need a pick-me-up. I just walk the dog around the park, and you can get Gatorade lower sugar. So the basic point is they're going to be targeting non-athletes that need hydration. I say that, and I get it. You know, if you live in Texas, you can walk to your car and need a Gatorade just from the front of your business to the parking lot. So living in Texas, there's a logic to this. But there's just something bizarre about saying it out loud, targeting non-athletes who get thirsty walking their dog.